Good morning. I'm going to talk to you today about lean leadership. I was fortunate to be able to listen to all 5 of these characters sitting before you at the Lean Construction Institute conference in Boston in October. And from left to right, we have Will Lichtig, Nicholas Modig, who wrote the book This is Lean. In the middle, we have John Shook, who's ahead of the Lean Enterprise Institute, Stephen Spears, who wrote the book The High Velocity Edge, and Bill Seed, who's ahead of projects at Disney, Imagineering, and was formerly with Universal Health Services. In the last session, This is Lean, we learned some important stuff. From John Shook, I never use a lean word unless somebody in the organization uses it first. A master will make lean easy. All we need to talk about is flow, value, leadership, people with problems to solve. The Lean Transformational Model that we support from the Lean Enterprise Institute is a good place to start. It's based upon starting at the bottom, like building a house, basic thinking that's needed to drive a transformation. Up through the middle, number 4, leadership. We need process improvement. We need to develop capacity in our people, and we need a problem to solve. This is Lean by Nicholas. Highly recommend you read this book. This was a transformational book for me that made lean simple. Before I thought I was lean stupid because I didn't know all the buzzwords, but really all it is about is flow. We're creating value for your customers, flow, and your people, getting them all to be able to see how to get to the scoring goals, delivering value. We need to pick the right problem to solve. How often on our construction projects do we worry about design fees or the cost of construction when really we need to look at total operating costs, greenhouse gas emissions, what it costs to run a business, and in healthcare it's huge. The value that the whole cost of the healthcare system compared to the price of construction or design is so huge that we need to focus more energy on the way people work in the facilities that we build. So for me, it was easy to fix or to select a problem to solve. I'm trying to get to net zero, which is net zero buildings at net zero cost. Can lean get us to green? What do lean leaders have in common? Respect for Toyota, a lean, very profitable company. In our last session, we talked about, well, what's the profitability of Toyota compared to their competitors? Well, they make $2,780 per car. I think the number is, and the next competitor, Ford, is $920, I do believe. So more than double. So Toyota must know something about being a successful company. So how great leaders inspire everyone to action is what we want to talk about next. Start with why. One of my favorite books is people don't buy how you create value, it's why you're in business. And so Stephen Spears was a keynote in Boston. An excellent presenter. How leaders leverage operational excellence to beat the competition. We actually studied this book in a study action team, and it's basically about building 4 capabilities. The job of leaders is to create other capable leaders, which are to see problems, swarm and solve problems, spread new knowledge, and develop capabilities in others. So Paul ONeill also presented at our conference, and another awesome keynote presentation, and he's in the book The High Velocity Edge. So when Paul started with Alcoa in 1987, when he gave his first speech, he talked about, well, we're gonna focus on safety, and all, the company wasn't doing very well, and the whole room went silent. And you're what? You focus on safety. We need to talk about profit margins. And so why safety? So he told an interesting story. I'll call it the Larry story. And he gave his phone number to all the people at Alcoa, a huge company. Here's my cell number. He says, if there's any incidents of safety that's going to be of harm to you, it needs to be fixed right away, within a week or within 2 weeks, and we will put processes in place. It will never happen again. So everybody perceives that safety costs more. This was a rallying point for the company. And so he told a story about Larry, who was phoned him on a weekend, and there were 3 conveyors in a row, and the one in the middle was broken. And so Larry phoned Paul and says, I'm really concerned. It's been a week now, and we've had, we're having to move these ingots or heavy molten metal from one conveyor belt past the broken one, and it's good. It's very dangerous. So Paul got on the phone and phoned the plant and had got people in there, fixed it up, and so what the company TomTom is says, you start doing stuff like that, you're phoning the boss on the weekend, and he's getting things fixed, and everybody saw that Paul was really serious about safety, cares about his people. So they, it created a culture, a change in thinking. So if you look at, it was about safety, but if you look at the profitability of the company, it went from net income increased from 200 million to 1.484 billion in a very short period of time, and the value of the company increased huge. So the shareholders would have been really happy, but it started with a rally point of safety. So another keynote speaker that I happened to see at Integrated Project Delivery Alliance that was an awesome story as well is also tied to safety. And so Michael Abshoff, who wrote the book It's Your Ship, took over the worst ship in the Navy. And he basically started eating in the sailors, the same food as the sailors in their mess, talked to every sailor on his ship, where at one point there was like 80% turnaround. When he took over, the crew actually cheered when the captain left. That's how bad it was. So he got the confidence of his team or his mates, and proceeded to make the best ship in the Navy, which is the value for somebody running a warship is the value is shooting targets, not painting ships. So he told a story about how a young sailor, everybody was free to speak their mind, and he basically said, why are we spending all our time painting these ships? And basically, so why? Well, because they get rust. And well, why is that rust there? Well, there's the metal we're on the ocean, metal rusts on these ships. And then, well, why is the metal rust? Well, it's ferrous. Well, why is it ferrous? Well, because that's what we always buy. Well, why can't it be stainless steel? So as it turns out, they ended up saying, well, why shouldn't it be stainless steel? And they ended up implementing standard operating procedures of changing out the ferrous metals so that they didn't have to have hundreds of people painting this huge, big ship. So that's the kind of things that happen when you get people working on problems from the bottom up. So, the other things that he did for his people were, he called it communications equipment, and bought one of the best damn sound systems. And on Thursday nights, I think it was, that they would have wine on the deck and listen to blues and jazz music. And then another important story was when they were steaming into Maui, and there's the protocol in the Navy is that the lead ship goes in first, but they had some problems with a rudder or something like that, and they had to stay out on the ocean. And so Michael radioed ahead and broke protocol and says, my men, they need to get to the beach. We've been on the ocean for 30 days, and why should we be waiting when so he what does that do for your men to get to the sandy beach and after you've been out in the ocean for a long period? And so he got a lot of respect from his men, and they ended up becoming one of the best damn target shooting ships in the Navy, because they weren't busy painting them, and they actually found time, got practice into be what created value for them. So an awesome story. Paul was at a different LCI conference, and the reason we need to talk about him is that culture is a really hard thing to change. So what his influence has been on the construction industry is that a lot of people went back to their own organizations and said, we gotta, it's hard to change culture, but we can get started 2 seconds at a time. So Paul's made it fun for people to practice lean, learning the 8 wastes, and I think the lesson that we learned from this leader is that we can ramp up the adoption of lean if we get it to be every day at work and at home, and he did an awesome job of that. And there's lots of great videos that you can check out that he's done, because he's all about having fun and recording them in videos. So I'm going to just bring it a little closer to home. Our last lean coffee, we went over to POS Biosciences. That the title of this slide is called Lean or God, or Lean or Gone. They faced a challenge. They used to be subsidized in order to do science of bioprocessing, of taking our agricultural products and converting them into oils. That's what their industrial plant does. Dale, all this, it became that they became a private company. No more. They had 2 years to get independent, or they would be gone. So he adopted lean to turn his company around, and it's an amazing journey that they've been on. And one of the stories that there's Grace and Karen over there that toured us around. They said it wasn't easy. They had a lot of people that with traditional thinking that were close to retirement, didn't want to get into the lean production boards and accountability. So one guy, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he dropped his belt in the middle of the floor. He says, "I'm so done. No lean for me," and he walked out the door. So it has to. Some of those kind of changes have to happen. You've got to have a culture, and if you're not going to fit in with that culture, you might need to make some changes. So an amazing story at POS, and we were actually working on a project there to transform their facility through energy savings, and that's how we got to get to work with these folks. There's Will Lichtig, who was on the front slide. Basically came up with a new form of contracting, the integrated form of agreement of how we can get owners working together with designers and builders, and in a collaborative effort that financially binds everybody together. So if there's not the right contract, create it. And Bill Seed, who was also up on that front slide, used to be at Universal Health Services, has been a pioneer at getting lean going in construction, and you might want to check out this book, Transforming Design and Construction, that him and his team have put together as a framework for change in our industry. So a very good read. So I just want to talk about Lean to be Green leadership and what motivated Sherman, Kathleen, and Dennis to adopt Lean to deliver green projects. How did they overcome the perceived barrier that we need to tender and that low cost represents the best value? So I really got into lean back in 2007 when I discovered that the traditional project delivery approach. I tendered a project, it went way over budget, and we fixed it by bringing all the contractors on board. So I went to the U of W shortly thereafter and to approach them to do some commissioning, and they had a project where they're $10 million over on a $38.5 million project. LEED Silver Target, and we brought in the team, fixed the budget, got LEED Gold, and so now we're 6 projects later, and U of W's uses Lean Project Delivery as their model. No going back. Kathleen Lossman, who's a co-chair of Lean Construction Institute Canada, she was working on a project in Okanagan, the Second Living Building Challenge project with Gary McEwen, a contractor at PCL, who I knew from Saskatoon, and they invited me into their project because they were having some problems. On the last project, it took them 8 months to get to completion, eats up all the profits, And so we basically implemented a lean commissioning process, and you can't have lean commissioning without doing lean project delivery. So we got in, brought the last planner system in, and the objectives here is a living building challenge, net zero at net zero additional capital costs. So here's another fine example of lean to be green. Mosaic Center, Dennis Cuckoo, total leader in how he runs his oil country engineering company, and he's building a new home for them, a 30,000 square foot living building challenge project. Target is net zero energy at net zero cost, and using full lean integrated project delivery approach to achieve that. So a fine example of lean to be green leaner, which is what this presentation is all about. So what do leaders rally their people around? Well, let's make sure that they rally around the right thing. A lot of times we focus on design and construction costs, where we really should be looking at the big picture of the value of the people in that space and how they work, and what the operating costs are. So just to summarize here, I want to be lean with respecting your team. From John Shook, we learned that start with the lean transformation model. Nicholas Modig, in order to build a foundation, we need to understand lean and flow. I have another video, This is Lean, that really explains why we need to focus on flow efficiency. From Stephen Spears, we learned that we need to develop 4 capabilities so you can be the best in your industry. Paul ONeill, the lesson we learn here is create an important rally point for your people, keep them safe, and they will come, and your company will be more successful. Paul Akers, lean can be simple as making it fun. Captain Michael Abscroft, our value is shooting targets, not painting ships. What a great idea. I love the way he turned his ship around. Dale Kelly, it works. We saved our employee-owned company by using lean and diversifying our business. Bill Seed, sharing lessons learned in a guide transforming design and construction. And from Will, we learned that if you want a new way of construction, write a new form of contract. Lean to be green summary, well, we just talked about it. Sherman used lean to fix a broken budget and delivered North America's most energy efficient lab building and exceeded a LEED Silver target. Kathleen says, yes, we can build net zero. It works if we use lean construction, and we're going to roll lean construction across Canada. I'm on the board with Kathleen there. And Dennis Cuckoo, normal is broken, triple bottom economics work. That is why we build a living building challenge project. Net zero project is a home for our most valuable resource, our people. So for those of you in Canada, we encourage you to join the Lean Construction Institute. And for those that want to learn more about lean project delivery, we have an online lean training course that the website's at the bottom there. I'll just leave this here so you can check that out. And if you have any questions about this video, feel free to send me an email or get a hold of me at Lean to be Green is my Twitter handle, or visit the website of Integrated Designs, which is our project management and commissioning company, or www.ecosmart.ca, which is our design and build, or lean design and build company. Next, we'll be talking about how to select a team, who should be on the bus. Thank you very much. Have a great day.